activists and organizers who were just up here.
Political gossip. It's not about polls. It's not about campaign strategy. It's not about fundraising.
No history of the Senate accounts for what is going on right now.
Greetings and salutations from Flyover Country. Glad you're here. Let's take this opportunity to look at the crazy week that was. Where to begin? Let's start with those pesky migrants down south. This next story is out of the Washington Examiner. A group of migrants demand the president himself either let them into the country or pay them $50,000 each to go back to their motherland in Central America somewhere. About 100 Central American migrants made the demand at the U.S. consulate, Tijuana, on Tuesday, also asking to be processed through the asylum system more quickly and in greater numbers as well. "It may seem like a lot of money to you," said Ula, "but it is a small sum compared to everything the United States has stolen from Honduras." That sounds amazingly similar to what one of George Soros' foot soldiers would say. I wish these guys would just step out of the shadows so we could have a real conversation about all this crap. And apparently $50,000 is the equivalent of 85 years of salary to a middle-class family in Honduras. Those poor folks in Tijuana, man, did they get a crash course in illegal immigration. I'll bet their whole perspective on Donald Trump's border walls changed. Matter of fact, I'll bet he's got pretty good approval rating poll numbers over there in Tijuana. Moving on to Paris, where they line their streets with trees so the German soldiers can walk through in the shade. As if the migrant crisis wasn't enough over there. Got a rape epidemic, jihadist attacks like every couple weeks, burning up and blowing up police stations. For the most part, the French people have swallowed the globalist pill, so to speak. But on top of all this stress on their society, Macron, being the bleeping idiot that he is, starts pushing this fuel tax. Keep in mind, folks, their fuel costs around $7 a gallon over there already. All right, let's move on, because I don't have much love for France, and I particularly can't stand Macron. Oh, here we go. Google CEO Sundar Pichai, or Pichai, whatever, endured nearly 3.5 hours of questioning in front of the House Judiciary Committee this week. I'm going to go ahead and reword this a little bit for Forbes magazine. The House Judiciary Committee endured 3.5 hours of blatant lies from Google CEO Sundar Pichai. Topics including market position, complaints of political bias, and of course concerns over it launching a censored search product in China. Yes, Google's alliance with the Chi-Coms. Where do I begin, folks? I begin by moving on, because at present day we are still on YouTube, and at some point Mr. Sundar Pichai is the overlord of YouTube, being a sister company of Google. Women's March leaders face anti-Semitic corruption charges ahead of second anti-Trump event. Wait, how can that be? I was always led to believe that leftist third-wave feminists were the most all-inclusive, non-judgmental, free-thinking species in the history of the universe. The anti-Trump Women's March that hit the streets the day after President Donald Trump's inauguration is now gearing up for a repeat event on January 19th in Washington, D.C. Some of its founders are facing charges from former fellow activists that the left-wing group is promoting the bigotry and corruption it claims to oppose. Teresa Shook, credited as one of the women who launched the march on social media, spearheaded the criticism last month when she called on the women who are currently running the movement to step down. Those women include Women's March National Co-Chairman, Co-Chairwoman Carmen Perez, Bob Bland, Tamika D. Mallory, and Linda Sarsour. Let's talk about Linda Sarsour real quick. Does anybody not think she's a dyke? I mean, it only makes sense in this world that this crazy, angry, anti-white male, burqa-wearing psycho has to be a lesbian. Am I right or am I right? Moving on. Who is a Palestinian American known for her anti-Israel stance. Did it not dawn on any of these third-wave psychopath feminists when this woman grabbed a microphone and started screaming at white males while proudly wearing a burqa that this could be a problem down the road? Once again, I digress. March leaders have also come under scrutiny for their association with Anti-Semite and Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan. Following the tablet expose, the 4 women who are now the leadership of the Women's March, Mallory, Perez, Bland, and Sarsour, held a Facebook Live event this week, where they defended themselves without specifically addressing their critics' claims. Imagine that. Quote, "One of the things that has happened is that we have been put to such a high standard. It's an unreachable standard that we would never hold any man in the movement to," Sarsour said in the video. "I don't think it's just men," Mallory said. "Women also. Even other women who are at the helm of leadership in different organizations that are mainly white-led organizations are not held to the same standards that we've been held to." Sarsour also criticized her feminist counterparts for undermining leadership. "Coming from a Muslim extremist, that should be expected. My thoughts, not the articles." Quote, "There are a lot of talk about smash the patriarchy, when in fact the very people who uphold the patriarchy are women, and women who claim to be part of the movement that we're a part of," unquote, Sarsour said. During Wednesday's live stream, Miss Sarsour, interesting, said the group planned to enlarge its tent by unveiling a 30-member women's steering committee and revamping its unity principles. Interesting. Next it will be a genital mutilation campaign, probably. Quote, "We will have a great program of women leaders," Sarsour said. "You will be very proud of the updating of the unity principles. You will see the efforts we have put in to keep making the table bigger." She even sounds like a mullah. "It's time to march again," the website says. The 2017 Women's March inspired hundreds of women to run, millions more to vote, and dozens to win elected office. The 2019 Women's March marks 2 years of resistance to the Trump presidency, 2 years of training new activists, and 2 years of building power. This time, we're coming back with an agenda. On January 19th, 2019, we're going to flood the streets of Washington, D.C. and cities across the globe, the website also said. The hashtag Women's Wave is coming, and we're sweeping the world forward with us. And also bring the kiddies for genitalia modification. We'll be serving up free lollipops and cotton candy, and even bright and colorful tie-dyed burqas. That last part, of course, again, is my personal attempt at sarcasm. Kind of. Let's move on. The great state of Texas has just enough red in its soil to do away with the likes of a Roberto Francis O'Rourke, otherwise known as Beto. Well, the Lone Star State is back in the news and in a wonderful way. A Texas federal judge on Friday ruled that Obamacare violated the Constitution. Judge Reed O'Connor, a U.S. District Judge from the Northern District of Texas appointed by former President George W. Bush, ruled that Obamacare violated the Constitution. Judge O'Connor acknowledged that health care is a politically charged affair, inflaming emotion and testing civility. However, O'Connor added that the courts are not tasked with, nor are they suited to, policymaking. O'Connor said that because the individual mandate is essential to the rest of the ACA, Affordable Care Act, all Obamacare is invalid. So there it is. A shout out to all you liberals. Yippee-ki-yay, mother bleepers. We'll end this video with one of Trump's tweets on the topic. Quote, "As I predicted all along, Obamacare has been struck down as an unconstitutional disaster. Now Congress must pass a strong law to provide great health care, protect pre-existing conditions. Mitch and Nancy, get it done." Alrighty, folks. Hope you enjoyed that. I sure as hell did. Hit the like button if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't. Leave a comment down below. There's a PayPal link in the description box. So please leave $1 in the bucket on the way out the door, and we'll see you next time.
No. Come on, move. Move. Easy, easy.